So, welcome. It's our very great pleasure to welcome you to our AGM for 2023. We are EduCanNation. If you don't already know us, we always do a disclaimer when we get started with our live events. So we just wanted to start off with our disclaimer, as we always do. So by being here or watching the recording, you agree that you're of legal age where you live. You understand that any information offered by EduCanNation and all affiliated parties and speakers are intended for the sole purpose of improving education and knowledge. You agree that none of the information and guidance provided by EduCanNation cannabis educators and all affiliated parties should supersede that of your healthcare providers or the laws and regulations of the Canadian Cannabis Act. We are recording, and all recorded content remains property of EduCanNation. What does the night look like? We're going to drop a link into the chat that shows you the full version of the agenda, which was sent out via email to most of you. Sorry if you didn't get it, but the link will be there. We're going to start by reviewing our voting process. So we're a nonprofit organization based in Canada. What does that look like for voting? Who gets to vote? What are we going to vote on tonight? Then we'll introduce you to our current board members, who will also update you on what we've been up to over the past year. Then we'll introduce you to our new board candidates and begin our election process. So Shauna will run through what the election process looks like, and then we'll have each candidate introduce themselves and let them know a little bit about them and why we should vote for them for the position that they're vying for. We'll present and vote our financials. So voting to accept previous years, current years, and projecting what we're expecting to spend in the future. And that will lead into what's coming up next for EduCanNation. We can open up the floor to a discussion and questions. We'd love to hear from you, what you would like to see from us, and how we can continue to support you in the future. We want to thank you for being here and or watching the recording. We really thank all of our members as well as our supporters, our partners, everyone who has found out about EduCanNation over the past 3 years since we decided to start this idea and make it a reality. If you're watching the recording, you will have the ability to vote up until next Tuesday, so July 11th at noon. We'd love to have all the votes in, and at that time we'll make the announcement of the results of all the voting. So next, I'll pass it over to Shauna just to give an overview of our nonprofit, who we are, what's involved.
So as most of you know, our mission is to provide the highest standard of responsible cannabis education across our nation. And we realize now that it really does go beyond that. So the responsibility of all of our members, whether you are on our board, our advisory committee, on a subcommittee, or one of our basic members, leadership members, or you're helping us beta test our professional membership, your responsibility is all of the following. So I'll just read through: to foster a community of cannabis educators from diverse backgrounds and practices that collaborate to advance cannabis research, knowledge, and policies. To be the primary source of responsible cannabis education in Canada that supports the sharing of current evidence-based, unbiased, and accurate cannabis knowledge to cannabis educators, medical industry, healthcare professionals, licensed producers or license holders, government, educational institutions, and the general public. It is also our responsibility to advocate for an individual's right to consume cannabis, whether for harm reduction, medicinal, or recreational purposes, for cannabis accessibility, including credible guidance on accessing safe, affordable, and effective cannabis products, destigmatization of cannabis consumption, cannabis amnesty to prevent and undo unjust incarceration and policing, inclusion and representation within unbiased cannabis research, policies, and industry. So we are very grateful for all of you that are here, all of you that are a part of our organization and that have been supporting us and supporting this vision for our organization.
And so I just dropped the link to the full presentation that Shauna did for us back in May of last year about just, again, more in depth of the things that we stand for, our mission, all the different roles and responsibilities, and every position on the board. It's detailed in that YouTube video if you want to check it out. All right, so let's just run through how the voting's going to work. Do you mind dropping this information for us, Shauna?
First, I'll mute myself. So voting is open to all paying members and all board members. So if you are a member of our advisory committee, but are not a paying member on the board, you are not able to vote, though we do very much appreciate all the advice that you do give to us. So it is our paying basic members, leadership members, and those that are helping us beta test the professional membership, and our board members. We each have one vote per motion. So a motion will be, as you'll see when we jump into elections, electing an individual to a position is considered one motion. So we'll each have one vote per motion. And again, as mentioned, we'll be able to vote using the form that we've created until July 11th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Thank you. I just dropped that link in for voting members to access the Google form. Might be handy to go through it. We've tried to organize it in the order that we're going to go through the voting tonight, so you can do it live time, or you can think about it and get back to us by next week. All right, now we're going to talk about the year in review. So we'll have each board member that's been with us through the past year introduce themselves, let you know what their position on the board is, a little bit about what they've done in that role, what they're excited about, what they've accomplished over the past year. And after we go through each of those positions, then we'll talk more about the election process. So Shauna, I'll let you start it off.
So most of you know that my name is Shauna Dunbar. I am one of the founders of EduCanNation. I'm pretty excited to be here and to see so many faces around the table. Seeing us grow is just one of the most exciting things for me. I'm an executive director and co-chair. I am also a certified medical cannabis educator. I have been working one-on-one with patients and providing cannabis education wherever I can since 2015. So I'll share some of the things that I've kind of been really excited about over this past year. One of them is the professional beta testing. So we have 3 tiers of membership, and we have launched 2 of them already. And the third one is in testing mode. We really want to make sure that we know what we're doing before we officially launch it. So we're really grateful to have some of our leadership members join us to help us develop this membership together. It is designed to evaluate and provide official recognition of qualified certified cannabis educators. So as some of you know, we are hoping to eventually be the accreditation board for certified cannabis educators. We are aiming to have our profession recognized by the government. So the professional membership is designed for certified cannabis educators that have either gone through 1 year of our leadership membership or have equivalent experience. They have access to all of the same offerings that our leadership members have access to. So our Friday speaker series, our business support group, our water coolers, our master classes, and so on. But then also have the opportunity, once they've gone through our evaluation process, to have employment opportunities. So those employment opportunities will come through our Alternative Wellness Access Education Center, or AWAKE, which is our clinic model, where our members will have the opportunity to work one-on-one with patients. and our alternative wellness education outreach for communities, or our AWOKE program, which is designed to have certified educators bring education out into our communities. We're presently developing our evaluation process, as mentioned. We're starting with each member having to create some cannabis educational content, which is then going to be featured on IMD Health and Cloud MD. Once they've done that, then they will have to present that education to our group so that we can learn that everybody is all on the same page, speaking in the same way, delivering education in the same way. And then from there, the next step is going to go into our ability to work one-on-one with patients. So we are going to do an evaluation and a process of working one-on-one with patients and what that looks like. And we will officially launch our professional membership in 2024. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm also excited to share that our advisory committee has continued to grow over the last year. We have quite a few members now. As our reputation grows in the cannabis community, people seem to be very open to the idea of joining us and lending their expertise when we are in need. Our advisory committee helps keep us accountable by being there for us when we have something for them to review, to make sure that we're really staying focused on our mission and our vision. They're also there to help make introductions to other people in the cannabis space that might benefit our organization. We're really appreciative of our advisory committee, and I will say a quick thank you to everybody that is currently on the board. We have Jose Bourgeois, Anne-Marie Fisher, Alex Revich, Dennis Gertler, Derek Dudley, Dana Baranovsky, Jonathan Zaid, Ika Washington, Julie Ann Wolf-May, Sarah Kroll, Kelly Becker, Megan Henderson, Shannon Cloet, Sabrina Ramkalewan, I'm really sorry if I didn't pronounce that properly, Shord Vise, Anita Risota, Sarah Bingham, Christina Montoya, Stephanie Carriere, Thomas Hankey, Dr. Thomas Hankey, Christina Dearly, and Matthew Jerome. So thank you to all of you for being a part of our organization and lending your expertise to when we need you. And I will pass it off to Stacy.
Thank you so much. I am Stacy Boback, also a co-founder, executive director, and treasurer at EduCanNation since day one. I'm a certified medical cannabis educator. I've been an entrepreneur in the cannabis industry since 2018. I teach novice consumers and dental professionals how to get access to cannabis education, and I now teach people how to get into the industry through a college course that I helped create and review. Some things that I'm really proud of from the past year are Can Expo and our award. So back in March, the members of EduCanNation met in person, some for the very first time, and we held our annual retreat. We got an Airbnb and we got to meet each other and just be in each other's presence, and it was really magical. We also received the opportunity to attend and host a donated booth space at the first ever Can Expo in Toronto. We were really honored to be featured as speakers at the event. This cannabis conference focused on education, so it was great to host a few panel talks. Some of our members even got to speak on the main stage. As a part of this event leading up, they had nominations for different awards, and we were nominated for Best Cannabis Educator of the Year. And thanks to the many voters and supporters like yourselves, we did win that award. And that experience was just such again, just like this full circle, like, wow, people know about us, and the work and the mission that we're on is really resonating with people. So it really meant a lot to us to win that award, to be together, to accept it, to have this team building event for not only the board, but leadership members and advisory committee members, many of whom are on the call tonight. While we were there, we were able to promote EduCanNation, our nonprofit organization, promote memberships. We were just launching our basic membership at the time, had people signing up for both leadership and basic. We shared our mission of providing the highest responsible standard of cannabis education. We had some really great connections come from that event. Speaking of memberships, our leadership membership continued into this year. Over the past year, we were so grateful for all of the leadership members who either renewed with us for a second year this year, or who decided to join the board after figuring out who we were as an organization and being so aligned with our values that they wanted to participate and dive in deeper with us. We also appreciate those who recently joined our membership, aka the Association of Certified Cannabis Educators. We are the first association of Certified Cannabis Educators, or we call it ACCE. We continue to offer our members continued learning through our Friday speaker series, master classes. We offer entrepreneurial growth through our business support group, our accountability pods, and we offer space to share our experiences with each other because we're not alone out here doing this job. We gather around the water cooler monthly, and we continue to highlight and elevate each other in our monthly newsletters. Speaking of Friday speaker series and business support groups, I just want to review some of the topics and amazing speakers that we got to listen to and meet over the past year. Since our last AGM, we hosted many different events as well, including a special screening of the THC, the Healing Conversations with Corey Yelland. We had master classes on end-of-life care with our board member, Olga Nikolaev, medicine making masterclass with leadership member Alexis Burnett, and a chronic pain and insomnia masterclass from a patient's perspective. For continued learning on Fridays, we talked about pharmacy and drug interactions with Anita Rosota from the advisory committee. We learned how to talk to kids about cannabis with Andrea Maharg, a leadership member. Some patient care topics were presented by Shauna about consideration for record keeping, clinic software, time management, intro to the professional membership that Shauna just mentioned. We had a suppositories Q&A. We talked to industry experts about concentrates, cannabis language and literacy, intuition, and patient care with Therese, our board member. We learned about working with cultivators, homeopaths, how does genetics play into THC tolerance. We learned about working with seniors as cannabis educators and coaches. And most recently, we learned all about RSO from our very own board member, JJ. On the business support, this is something special for leadership members as well. They got tips on improving their writing skills for blog and content creation, Canva tips and tricks, writing an intro letter for your business, establishing relationships through that introduction letter, defining your brand, getting organized with things like Trello. What does insurance look like for us here in Canada? Reading a research article, super important in our businesses. We talked about just generally running a business in cannabis. How's it going? Counseling versus coaching. What's the difference? Creating a one-pager to promote what you're doing as your services. And when it's all too much, Steph, our co-founder, also talked to us about burnout. And if anything, she's taught us a lot about boundaries and burnout over the past year. So thanks, Steph, she's here tonight. We continue to offer accountability pods. We're turning this into a working space where we can share wins and challenges as we grow and develop our business, really. So we just want to thank you to all of those guest speakers and presenters who joined us over the past year, and wanted to let you know that we continue to welcome referrals for future topics and future speakers as well. Thank you so much. I will pass it over to JJ.
Thank you very much, Stacey, and thank you very much to everybody who's here. So nice to see all your faces. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about some other offerings that we have at EduCanNation. One of the things we do is we have a water cooler. We do that twice a month, and this is an opportunity for us to get together, discuss our wins and challenges and what's going on in the industry. You know, it's like a water cooler where we can get together and just discuss what we're working on at that time, or if we have difficult client like cases or anything like that. So it's a great, you know, place for us to get together and just talk shop basically. And we do that, like I said, every other Thursday. I'm also, as secretary. I work on the ECN Digest, and this is our monthly newsletter. And in our issues, we we share what's going on with the organization. We have our Inside ECN section, so that's where you can learn about what's happening with us. And then we also have a Staying Lifted section where we highlight what's going on with all our partners and affiliates. So any offerings or events that are going on, we like to advertise that and support our partners and affiliates. We also have a water cooler section in the digest where we elaborate on hot topics that we wind up discussing in our water cooler sessions. And then every month we feature an elevated educator. So it's always a member of our organization, and we do a little feature article on them, and usually have them write a little piece as well, something that's kind of true to them. So we do that every month as well. And we do, like I said, a lot of advertising of, what is going on between EduCanNation and all our partners and affiliates. And I have a little link here for our last digest, and I'll share that with you if I can figure out how to copy the link. There you go. And so that's just our last one there. Great, so that's me, and I'm going to pass it on now to Samara, who is our membership coordinator.
Hi, everyone. It's so nice to see so many faces. Okay, so I guess we were told, we don't have to do these big bios. If anyone wants to read about me, they can go to the EduCanNation website and take a look about what I do. Mainly my focus right now is EduCanNation, and I kind of give all my energy to them. I'm the membership coordinator. I'll talk to you a little bit about how we did our basic membership launch this year. Our basic membership is really geared towards any curious, cannabis patients, cannabis utilizers, anyone who supports us, general public. I mean, the list could go on. I don't know if there's many people who wouldn't benefit from a basic membership. What we offer to these members, or we give them access to recorded content that we have, very interesting and important cannabis topics. We give discounts on any live offerings. So when Stacy was talking about some of the master classes and that sort of thing happening through the leadership membership, we give a discount to our basic members if they want to join in on any of those. We do a monthly chill and chat. We had our first one last month. It was great. This is basically a place where people can come and feel safe and talk to certified educators, because a lot of our basic members may just want that opportunity to be in have a more general discussion versus one-on-one. We also ran a month-long promotion, which helped us bring on quite a few little new members to our basic membership, and we are continuing to accept. We went back to the regular price, but we're continuing to bring on members. We found some people really jumped on to giving it as almost like a charitable donation. So, going forward, that's something we might sort of tap into again, because there are people who feel that they want to donate, but they don't necessarily need the membership. So we kind of opened it up to just be a way of helping support us. Another thing I'm really looking forward to is the Awoke. So this is another branch. So Shauna talked to you about ACCE, which is our Association of Certified Cannabis Educators. We also have continuing education for our leadership membership, and eventually that will bring into our professional. But we also have the Alternative Wellness Outreach Education for Communities. And this will be launching when we launch our professional membership in 2024. I'm really excited about this one. I might have to jump in. I was telling Shauna before the professional membership launch. This is sort of something that, we have to sort of finesse a little bit, but it's going to be looking at our professional members going out into the communities and giving free education 101 to the communities. This may be in a local YMCA. I'm sorry, bad timing. Maybe in a little YMCA or a community center. We're going to have a better picture of all of that, but I'm very excited about that. Yeah, I think that's all I really have to talk about. I know it's Stacy, if you want to trigger me for anything I'm missing, but I think that's about it. I'm planning on, I had a 2-year contract or 2-year sign-in with these guys when I started and jumped on the board. I don't really plan on going anywhere, but I'm definitely in the position for another year, and I've loved it. And looking back, I mean, just looking at this room of people, it's just really, really, really nice to see. So thank you to everyone. And I guess I will pass on now to Therese.
Hi there. I am the funding coordinator. I can't see anybody, so hopefully you can hear and see me. Can anybody tell me?
You're
Okay,
good.
good. Thanks.
Looking good.
Thanks. Great. So this past year has been great for getting a feel for the direction that EduCanNation is going. And as the funding coordinator, I'd like to know, what do we need funding for, and what opportunities exist that we can fit into. I'm a cannabis coach and educator, and have been working with cannabis and coaching for the past 3 years in BC, and came across EduCanNation quite early in my starting in coaching, and was just really felt I wanted to be aligned with EduCanNation because of the direction that they're going with education across Canada, and to be associated with a bunch of really fun people. It's so cool. So that's why I came and joined, so that my efforts can also be a part of the wave. So I wanted to just say a special thank you to our new members, whether you're basic or leadership members, and thank you for your support of EduCanNation. Currently, we operate almost 100% on our memberships, and so it's important to have you as members. You're pretty valuable to our operation. So just to review a little bit about what happened this past year, I worked with, I just connected with all of our affiliates to just make sure that they were in good standing, and what their relationship is like with us in EduCanNation. And it's important to keep our affiliates close at hand so that we can utilize their support throughout the year. We started a shop and share campaign. So that's a website that you log into before you go and do your online shopping. And then it links out to places like Amazon and other stores. And then you get a percentage back of your purchases. So it's a way of donating to EduCanNation without taking anything out of your pocket. It just, the companies donate a percentage of your, of what you've already purchased. So we encourage you, we can share those links again. We encourage anybody, you don't have to be a member, you don't have to be, you can have your family join the shop and share and help donate a portion of their shopping experiences to EduCanNation. We've been looking at some other grants as well. OCS came out with a grant, and that was that Shauna submitted to in last month in June. Shauna also found a Pure Later True North Small Business Grant for $25,000. That was last month as well, and we applied for that. We're looking at a few different TELUS grants. So we have one that's called Stand With Owners. That's a $50,000 grant, along with a bunch of other perks that it comes with, including things like a Petrocan card and wireless services and other communication and advertising business services that TELUS offers. So that one we're working on. I think that's not until September, October is the deadline for that one. TELUS Community Board Grants also has an Indigenous Communities Fund for $50,000 that we're looking at, and really hoping to massage that a bit to see where we can support Indigenous communities and getting cannabis education intertwined into that as well. We connected with Parents Against Driving High to coordinate, in the hopes to coordinate with them for the OCS funding. We wanted to connect with different organizations that maybe we could like go in on grants with. They were already doing their own grants, so that didn't work to coordinate with them in that way, but there's other opportunities for us to work with Parents Against Driving High. We also connected with Scott Santamarie. He's the Director of Outreach and Engagement for Cannabis and Mental Health for Youth. They created a course for youth over this past year, and they have received an immense amount of grant funding for all the projects that they do. So they have offered support to us in helping guide and direct us in our grant writing process and finding grants that will be aligned with us. And then we also, as we've already stated, we launched our professional membership, leadership we launched our beta professional leadership and our basic membership. And yeah, so that is the funding update. I can pass it over to who's next. Oh, my notes. Olga for education coordinator.
Thanks, Therese. So my name's Olga Nikolaev, and I am the EduCanNation education coordinator. I'm really privileged to say that I was quite the grandmother when this initially bloomed into what it is today and continues to grow. And so I'm really honored to have not only reflected in the last year, but in the last 3 years, and have some memories of how we began and where we are and where we're going. Really excited about WOKE. It's part of my mandate as a end-of-life nurse educator, as well as registered nurse and end-of-life doula trainer. And so there's a real interesting intersectionality between plant medicine of all kinds, including cannabis, and end of life, and the existential angst that we all have in our whole lifespan. So I'm going to give you sort of, I was going to do a wrap version of all the things that we have launched in the realm of education, uploading all of that information on IMD, which is really fantastic. You know, consider that EduCanNation has partnered with IMD to provide this really great education to many, many healthcare professional organizations, including the Mayo Clinic. So we are in there offering some of this wonderful education, expanding a lot of the professionals' knowledge about cannabis and its use. So on IMD, you will find the different health modules, which include the history of cannabis medicine, plant botany, major cannabinoids, major terpenes, the endocannabinoid system that always took a while to say, cannabis safety, dosing methodologies, deciphering cannabis product labels. There's a whole module on that, surprise, surprise. Understanding cannabis laws in Canada, both medical versus recreational. Also informing our medical professionals around patient access and sourcing of medical cannabis. Also sourcing cannabis from recreational retail stores, knowing that many of our clients seek to find the medicine that helps in many ways. And then finally looking at intake methods, including the suppository, which for me at the end of life, we really appreciate. And then I'm really excited to say that for our new new topics, they will include acid form, cannabinoids, drug interactions. I'm really excited about that. That's a really big piece. Cannabis edibles, cannabis myths and misconceptions. I think that will be really handy in communication or the community education. Outdoor growing safety, including indoor growing safety, common questions and concerns, common ailments that cannabis is used for, cannabis for seniors, and end of life, if I may add, as well as the glossary of terms. I think for me as an educator, language is very, very important. And so having sort of this agreed upon language that we can all understand is a really important piece. We also have topics on hemp, cannabis and cancer, CBN, 99, CBG, THCV, as well as concentrates. Suppositories have their own module. How fantastic, right? Let's talk about the baby. Inhalation safety and nourishing your endocannabinoid system, which more than likely includes bridging to some of the semantic breathing techniques that I know some of you know well, and some of the other energy, potentially spiritual modalities that can be used. So I'm really excited to continue, not as a board member with that title in the education coordinator, but I'm actually going to be stepping down to be part of the advisory committee so I can focus some of my energy on continuing to bridge the education and the gifts of cannabis with healthcare providers, end-of-life care providers, doulas, and the psychedelic world. I'm really excited about that because there's a really nice bridge in there somewhere. I also, if I could, before I pass on the baton to Kadisha, I just want to acknowledge the way personally and professionally this particular involvement with all of you and those who are not here has, again, that intersectionality between cannabis, medicine, and death. So I'm going to light a candle as a way of acknowledging one of our CannaFam members is navigating death in her family, and also for all of us who have had those really big transitions, not in the death of a person, but maybe the death of and the losses that we all have faced and all will continue to face. Thank you. Alicia.
Okay, I believe I'm next, right? Thank you. I'm Kadisha Thornhill, and I've been the Policy and Advocacy Coordinator for EduCanNation for about 2 years now. And it's been a real pleasure working with all of the amazing women of the board, current and past members as well. I'm a naturally leaning educator. Okay, I'm an insurance educator by day as part of my job. And when I became a cannabis educator, joining with EduCanNation was just a natural fit, especially having worked with Stacy on a previous board, PAC. So I came over at Stacy and Stephanie's invitation and Shauna, and it's been a great ride since. I'm really happy to have been a participant in a lot of the transition to getting to where we are now. You know, the board has changed in sizes in the last couple of years. So it's a lot. I'm happy with where everything's going. And I'm most proud of my contributions with helping to increase our visibility at different conferences. And particularly Can Expo was a really lovely pleasure seeing everybody, and winning that award was amazing too. So really proud of anything I could have done that contributed to that. I'm also proud of the work I've been doing to help ensure that our language, our public facing language, is always as inclusive as possible, and making sure that even when we're looking at presenting to the public, that we're making sure we represent the true diversity of our public and our members and cannabis users throughout. And so I'm proud of anything I've done to contribute to that. And where the direction that everything's going really makes me feel good. So good that I'm going to announce that I am stepping down from my role and on the board, and will be transitioning to an advisory committee as well, just because it's the right time now. And I'm really excited to see where the committee and the board is going to go with EduCanNation going forward. So I'm grateful again to all of you for letting me work with you. And I'm hopeful that, you know, there's still going to be ways I can contribute. One of the portfolios that's still a nagging issue for me is insurance and risk management. So I'm still keeping my eyes out and open in the ways that I can help EduCanNation and any educators out there in this cannabis space, because it's not easy, you know, doing all the business aspects of this work. So thank you.
Thank you, Kadisha. Thank you to all of our board members for everything you've done to get us here. We really, really appreciate it. I can't say it enough.
Yes.
All right, as Samara said, you can join or check out our website. The About page dives a little deeper into everyone's personal story of how they got here. Sorry if someone was chatting there.
No, that's great. And that moves us on to our next item on the agenda, which is our elections. And so a big thank you to Olga and Kadisha for everything you've contributed, and for taking the decision not to step down, but just to shift over. I'm so glad that we're not going to lose you, and you know, everything that you have to offer to the organization. It's great that you will continue to support us, just in a different shape and form. So as mentioned earlier, our elections, those that are able to vote are our paying members and our board members. Our available positions right now are education coordinator, which is a 2-year term, Marketing and Communications Coordinator, which is also a 2-year term. Advocacy and Policy Coordinator, again, a 2-year term. Secretary, 2-year term. And Co-Chair, our 4-year term. So I will invite our candidates to introduce themselves. I'm going to make a mention to everyone present that please take the time to read through the slides. Their bios are included on the slides, and they are also included in our voting form. So we're not going to have our candidates read through their bios. You can have access to that to read through on your own time. We'll just have them introduce themselves and why they are passionate about cannabis education and why they would like to join our team. So first up, Stacey, can you just change the slide for us, please?
Well, the window, here it comes. Our first up is Haral.
Thank you.
Is going for the education coordinator. So Haral, and to all of the nominees, can you please introduce yourself? Let us know what you're passionate about when it comes to cannabis education, why you decided to join the board of directors, what you'll be bringing to this potential position should you win the vote. Why should we vote for you? So take it away, Haral.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hero Mystery, and I'm here today to present myself as I'm requesting to join the board of directors at EduCanNation as an education coordinator. I am a certified cannabis educator and an advocate for cannabis education. Professionally, I am a registered nurse and I'm employed as an educator for Ontario Health. So thank you for considering me to be a member of this board of trailblazers and forward thinkers. I've always had a passion for education, and throughout my journey as a student, whether it was in dental hygiene, nursing, or cannabis education, I was always drawn to the facilitation aspects of my career. As a health professional, I believe in the power of healing naturally as much as possible, and what better way than the use of a plant. My consideration for membership on this board stems from my high degree of experience in community health. I understand, although on October 17th, 2018, recreational cannabis will be legal for almost 5 years, there is still a lot of stigma around its harm and potential impact to the community. That is why I, like many of you, feel the immediate need to erase the stigma and amplify its many life-changing attributes. I have recently began researching the endocannabinoid system and learned how our bodies are already equipped with the ability to use cannabis to help with ailments, and how we have many receptors that can benefit from the different triggers. I am fascinated with how it communicates with our nervous system and perplexed why this isn't something so widely learned. This is the reason why I want to join EduCanNation board of directors, so that I can use my expertise to continue lifelong learning in the medical cannabis world and help society embrace the scientific benefits of the plant. You should consider voting for me because I have over 10 years of experience with Ontario's health system, and I have taken on leadership roles throughout my career. I am passionate, caring, and I'm very goal-oriented. And I want to be part of something like EduCanNation, where I can work as a team with like-minded individuals. So thank you everyone for being here this evening and being present during this moment as we embark on this adventure together.
Wonderful, thank you. And our apologies for mispronouncing your name.
Okay, it's okay.
With time.
It comes with time, I know.
Yeah, so if you want to jump into your forms right now and vote for the position right away, you can, or you can wait until the end and listen to all of our candidates. Excuse the dogs in the back.
All right, up next, we have Kendra, who is going for our secretary position. And Kendra's been volunteering on the board for a few months now. She's got a little feel of who we are. So please go ahead and introduce yourself, what you're excited to bring to the position, and why we should vote for you for secretary.
Hi there, can you see me?
Yes, I love the hat.
Okay, thanks. So yeah, I'm in Calgary. It's a big event today, so I really appreciate being able to just join this and all the space that Stacey and Shauna and the group have given me. I am just super passionate about cannabis. I think a public event like Stampede is just a really great example of how I'm serving at the bar right behind me, and cannabis is not going to be around. Everyone's drinking around their kids. You can see there's a bouncy castle and a petting zoo, and I think cannabis education is the gateway to having it more normalized. And we all know the cigarette smokers are on the sidelines, which is fine, but it's anyways, the reason I'm good for secretary is I have a marketing and graphic design background. I'm very organized. I'm currently working in the dispensary environment here in the Calgary and get to meet patients all the time at the dispensary level. And it's very challenging for me to support them in a dispensary environment. And I would love to be able to refer them and refer them to EduCanNation, but also to medical cannabis professionals, and really think that there's a connection to be made between the recreational and dispensary side, and would love to be part of EduCanNation in the group to help all that work together. So thank you for listening and have a great afternoon. Thanks for everybody being here.
Thank you too, Kendra. Thanks for popping on. So as Shauna mentioned, you can vote along. Kendra is the next space there on your voter card. And up next, we have a new candidate for the marketing and communications role, a longtime leadership member, Tamara Wilton. Please go ahead and let us know what you're excited about in cannabis education and what you plan to bring to this role should you be nominated and be voted in.
Hello, my name is Tamara Wilton. I started Mama Bear Canna Coaching in 2021. I came into cannabis as basically for hormonal reasons, and then actually found out I had other conditions. And I kind of became a coach and an educator more because I started to see all the people suffering. And I don't like to watch people suffering and hurt and on different medications. And so I wanted to make a difference. I educated myself originally for myself. And then when I realized about the endocannabinoid system, that was my aha moment. It was like, wow, we have a plant that can work with our body and nobody knows about it. I'm extremely passionate about the endocannabinoid system as well as the acidic cannabinoids. I want everybody to learn about the endocannabinoid system. I feel like it's an injustice that people don't, and I've been determined to educate about it. This year, I decided to have more of an education role in my business where I'm actually doing public talks to teach people about their endocannabinoid system as well as medical cannabis. I honestly feel I've been a member of EduCanNation for a long time. I've watched many of the members grow and do some amazing things, and I feel like you guys are family. Like you guys have enhanced my life. You've changed my life. Like you gave me the ability. I've been self-employed with my husband for so many years, and you guys gave me the ability to say, hey, I don't need to do that anymore. I wasn't happy doing it. And now I feel like I've come into what I am supposed to be doing. And why I want to be in this position is because I feel like I have a lot to offer to you guys. I learned marketing more as a survival technique when you are young and start a business and you have 2 little kids that you're going to take care of. You have to market. And it's not just about social media. It's not about putting out Instagram ads or Facebook ads, or it's about talking to real people. It's about approaching real people. And I feel that's something I can bring. I have tons of customer service experience. I have relationships with people that we've done business with for many, many years. And I believe that's an asset. And I really feel like I want to give that back to EduCanNation for everything they've done to me. You guys have given me so much. And I feel like you guys are family. And what better thing to join the board and be able to help your family. I want all educators to be known. I want EduCanNation to be the word that everybody actually knows. Oh, the educators. Oh yeah, I know them. And why you should vote for me is because when I believe in something, I will tell the whole world. And as a group, we can move mountains. As an individual, I can only move a boulder. And I will do everything I can to make sure that everybody knows who EduCanNation is. And that's who I am. Thank you.
Well, I certainly have chills, so thank you. You are more than welcome to join. You already are part of the family, so thank you for saying that and for sharing that that's your perspective of being a member of the organization. So head over to the voter form, vote for Tamara if you think she is the right person for this role. Next up, we have Jose Bourgeois going for the Advocacy and Policy Coordinator position.
Kwe, Josine Indishnikos, Pequawkningon, and Dojaban, Anishinaabe, Ki Anishinaabe, Kwe. Hello, my name is Jose. I'm Algonquin First Nations from Pequawkningon, just about an hour and 45 minutes west of Ottawa. I've been working in the sovereign cannabis industry for a good number of years. What I've been doing specifically, you can see in my bio. I'll be honest with you, I feel that in the last 2 years, there have been some really unique intersections in my work that were very unforeseen in the beginning. Coming into the cannabis industry, things really did seem separate in the sectors, and I was very reluctant to see so many women, to be honest, be very open and willing to share their platforms with me. So that's how I came to know Canadian Women in Cannabis and EduCanNation probably over the last year. The reason why I find this organization so imperative to be a part of is because in the engagement and networking that I've been doing in the sovereign industry to try to grow our distribution network, I've come across a single-handed common denominator with, my opinion, only has one resolution. And that common denominator is, I will be told over and over again, that's not our medicine, as an excuse to not further the conversation, to even allow the discussion to be at a community level. There's a lot of gatekeeping that happens from leadership levels, and it's all stemmed from miseducation. So, and this goes as high up as AFN, to the BCRs that have been passed, to motions that have gone nowhere, and to a conglomerate of mostly men who are uneducated about cannabis, and they don't advocate for sovereignty to be taken seriously at a government level. So without going on too much of a rant, I can honestly say that after a lot of soul searching of, you know, what am I going to really do in this industry to make sure that the work that I'm putting forth has some results, I needed some kind of tool, and that tool are these education modules. It's this organization of people. It's this common strategic alliance and mission in First Nations communities all across Canada. It doesn't matter what part. Suicide and addiction is the #1, other than missing and murdered Indigenous women, issues that are plaguing our communities, on top of residential schools, 60 scoop, all those intergenerational traumas. There's a lot of pain, both physical and emotional, that people are processing. And unfortunately, because of the way that leadership can be very colonized, we rely heavily on pharmaceuticals and Western medication. And again, that's out of fear. It's out of just sticking to what people know. So I foresee, with growing some roots in this organization, becoming a cannabis educator. I'm even inspired at this point to get my certification outside of EduCanNation for cannabis, to just become as certified as I possibly can. I'm going to be starting a job at the end of the summer with the school board. I'm going to be an Indigenous student graduation coach. I'll be working with 2 different school boards. I'll be working with like 7 different high schools. I have a past career in corrections. I have so many connections in the political and First Nations communities locally and abroad. I have friends in Six Nations at the Six Nations Cannabis Coalition that I've already tried to connect EduCanNation and them with. They got a lot going on, but what I'm trying to say is there's all these different compartments of places that need cannabis education content. And I foresee being a catalyst and being a very strong advocate. I'll echo what Tamara said. When I believe in something, I am all the way, home run, no backing down, super loyal, and very fierce. So I take cannabis education really seriously because it's the default excuse that so many people are using to go nowhere with it. And all the people who are, not benefiting from that are just so many individuals, whether they're native or not native, because the same thing happens as you're all sharing in your networks as well. So I think you should vote for me because this seems like a very natural unfolding and evolution of relationships. And I just feel very at peace with advocating for myself to be taking this position. So please and thank you. That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. You're always so well spoken. Thank you for sharing. Head over and vote on the voting form for Jose. And let's jump into our next candidate. You all know and love her, JJ O'Brien. She is going to step up some big shoes to fill in the co-chair executive director position.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you. I am JJ, and I have been on the board as a secretary for the last year and a half now. When I first heard about EduCanNation, I just felt an immediate camaraderie, being that I came into cannabis after a cancer diagnosis, and having, two of our founding members being breast cancer survivors. So, I think the easiest way to put it, my husband and I were walking the other day and we were having a conversation about everything that I was doing, and I had a couple of deadlines, and, he was like, are you maybe doing too much for EduCanNation and not doing enough for your own business? And my response was, EduCanNation is my business. And that's how I've always felt about it. You've welcomed me in, and I've always just felt like, yes, Tamara, we are a family. And I love how we've grown over the past year, how we've connected, and all the connections that we have made outside of ourselves, building the committee, all these new members that are here right now. It's just like, I'm so grateful. Sorry for my son's diabetic alarm going off right now. And yeah, anyways, I'm just, since after the diagnosis and, cannabis completely changed my life and completely gave me my life back. And of course, that's just driven this huge passion in me to just, share the knowledge with as many people who will listen. So, coming to EduCanNation was it seemed like fate. So I'm just very honored to be here. I've always been here and I'm not going anywhere. And I'm just really excited to be here and really excited to see where we go. So vote for me.
Big love to you. We are so grateful that you're volunteering here. You've made huge changes for us already. We look forward to continuing to grow together. So head over and please vote for JJ.
Yep.
All right, now for the business stuff. Shauna, any last words as we wrap up the election process there?
Oh, I'm head over heels. So grateful that we have so many candidates and that our positions are going to be filled with such incredible, passionate people. Our family grows, our team grows. I am just grateful.
Agreed. Very passionate people for sure. All right, so we're going to talk about the financials. We do need to vote on that as a nonprofit. So we'll review the 2022 financials, what money came in, what money went out, same for 2023 to date. Looking forward to 2024, what are our projections and what are we excited about diving into when it comes to opportunities for the nonprofit. So members are invited to vote along. All of these images are also on the voting form. So when it comes to 2022, we shared these numbers at our last AGM. We had a year-end income of $3,170.68. The majority of the funds, as Therese mentioned, come from membership fees. We also had some donations for online workshops and presentations that we provided and some affiliate payouts. We paid for, we paid $1,977.43 for running the nonprofit. So this is our income tax, payment services, registration to keep our nonprofit registered. We pay for our website services, Zoom, bank fees, lawyer fees, etc. So please vote to approve the financials for 2022. Money coming in so far from 2023 is $4,607.76, again, coming from membership fees and donations for our education services and educational sessions. Money spent this year was $5,813.25. And this was a decision that we made to put money that we've been building up for the first 3 years of our nonprofit into networking and promoting ourselves at events like Can Expo and the associated costs with marketing and promoting ourselves there. We also ran the business as we do with our nonprofit operations, very similar to last year. So please vote to approve the financials for 2023 to date. Briefly looking forward to what we anticipate spending next year, we will budget for these items in the coming year, and we'll use some of the funds remaining to attend hopefully more networking events and to promote EduCanNation further. We really saw an increase of recognition after getting ourselves out into the public, demonstrating ourselves as certified cannabis educators. So we would like to attend Can Expo 2024 and other networking events where maybe just some of our members are going to, and we want to support them in those opportunities that they're now being offered. We will continue to run the nonprofit, so we always have our nest egg of operations as listed on the screen. And we hope to have another annual retreat for the board this year. So if that sounds okay to you, please go ahead and vote for our budget priorities at the end of this year and into next year. Looking ahead, we look forward to continuing to promote the 3 membership tiers. As we mentioned, this has been a great source of support for our organization. The introduction of our new professional membership tier will provide new benefits for our members, like opportunities to work on our clinic model and training to deliver cannabis education in their communities. Our funding subcommittee continues to network and search for support through grants and donations, as mentioned. As funding permits, we continue to share funds raised for paid presentations. So we share a bit of the proceeds that we make with the speakers that support our members. We'll continue to host educational events with hopes to expand our audience to a global reach. And whatever else may come, we will be open to opportunities because we know they will be plentiful as our name gets out there. So if you agree that this is a good way for us to have a very prosperous year ahead, please go ahead and vote for our projections for 2024. Speaking of the year ahead, I'd like to talk about what's coming up. So we always create a monthly calendar, and we're going to talk to what's coming up on the calendar. We're going to allow some space for our members to speak to strategic planning, so what they would like us to focus on, and then we want to hear from you. What questions do you have for us about the nonprofit? Any suggestions? Open discussion time. So I'll pass it to Therese first.
Awesome, thank you. Just in thinking and reviewing over where we've been over the last year and 3 years, really, I see us as board members and membership members supporting EduCanNation and giving it our heart and soul. We've covered a lot of ground, promoted and promoted and promoted, and networked with numerous other organizations, received high recognition, and become really well known in the cannabis space. We certainly have lots to be really proud of, but there's something I feel that's missing. And I just want to bring it to our attention so that we can talk about it and bring more success in the coming years to EduCanNation. And I'm not entirely sure what it is. I've been running businesses and things like that for years. But this is a piece that I get stuck on. And the only word that comes to me is strategic planning. That's what comes to mind. And that's the getting the nitty gritty down to how many members do we need a year? How much in our finances do we need in a year? Where are we using that money for, like really specifically? So we have a lot of objectives. We have our irons in the fire. We have our basic membership, our leadership membership, our professional membership, our education center, education outreach program, our national, international perspectives, and who we're serving. We want to serve youth, Indigenous, seniors, practitioners. So many people. We are really, really, really broad. And I'm wondering if we're utilizing our resources in the best way that we can. And our resources are us as people. And I'm not asking for any more work. I'm actually asking for less. And that somehow the work that we are doing and that we're putting together is coming back in bountiful folds. So when I see that our membership is down this year, yeah, we're only halfway through the year, but we had all those members near the first part of the year last year. And so this is what I'm looking at is we need members. If we want an outreach center, we need members to draw from that are going to be a part of that center. So just really thinking about what is our strategic plan going forward? Are we spreading ourselves too thin? What do we really want? What is our priority? We can't have all of these as the priority because we're going to run out. We're going to burn out. So what is for this next year? What is it like? We want to nail this and we want to nail this. And maybe it's 2 things, maybe it's 1 thing, but I don't know that it can be 7 things. I'm spent, and I know a lot of us are, but I want something to be really successful. Like I want something that we are doing to be like, wow, they really know what they're doing. That's what I want people to look at us now. So now they're seeing us here. They're seeing us, our presence. But how can we move forward into that strategy place of thriving, of where our bank account has what we need in it? We have the educators that we need to be out in the public. So it's not a criticism at all. I want us to be successful, and I want our numbers to be going up. I want us to be trending higher and higher every month, bringing more of these people, getting that commitment in. And so I wonder about this focus and where we can build our momentum and not stretch ourselves too thin. So I'm proposing that maybe we need to strike up a committee to narrow down the focus, to really get real and raw with what our priorities are and what our focus and how to focus our energies there in the next year. Who do we serve? How do we reach these people? How do we review our mission statement to help us all be balancing all the work that we're doing and that we're putting together? So that's what I have to share.
That's wonderful, Therese. And I think it's really important that you're bringing this to light because it's all very true. And I think our committee's already going to come together because once September comes around and our board comes back together with new members, this should be number 1 on our first meeting agenda. We'll do some strategic planning together. Thank you, Therese.
I agree. One of the first pieces of advice we got as an organization, but also that I get as an entrepreneur is you have to have your business hat on. And to many of you that I've spoken to, where do I settle my time? How do I hack my schedule to make time for this volunteer position? We want it to be a good return on that investment of your time. And we want to respect that time and energy. And we, again, are so grateful for this desire to help make it work for everyone. We want to support you in your business. We want to help the future of cannabis education. That's a big job. So let's definitely focus in and keep getting our name out there as an organization and the association, and in the future, the accreditation board for cannabis educators. Anyone else want to jump in on Therese's point of strategic planning before we move on?
I don't have anything to add other than just how that makes me feel. Like that makes me feel motivated. I'm the kind of person, like if I like right off the top of my head when I was listening to you talk, I'm like, what's like the package, like what is the electronic package that's being used to advocate and recruit people, give it to me. And let me just, like, you know, rainbow canvas my network, my broad ass network of random people in different places. And I mean, just as a starter, what more could I, like, what, that's the least I can offer to do, you know? And then from there, as those of you who have been a part of this process for so much longer, I will respectfully wait to be directed on how else I can contribute, because the outcome of this organization, I believe, is extremely imperative to the sustainability of cannabis, period, the end. So.
Yep, we're gonna have a real good year, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, JJ, do you mind sharing the next point here? What's coming up on the calendar for EduCanNation?
Sure, I can do that. Steph, did you want to comment on what we were just talking about? I saw your hand up.
Thanks. It's just a tiny little thing, and I know that I haven't been here for the last year, but when I saw you guys, us, win the award, which I really had no idea because I was so out of the loop, Therese, that is a big deal. And so, yes, we've had a big focus and we have a big mission, and it is a big job. And also, please remember what we've accomplished, right? Because it's those tiny wins. It's not that big thing that we're grasping at that we want that's going to make all the difference. It's the little things too that stack up and that make all the difference. And I see you all doing it, right? You're all doing it. So, and also great point too. I mean, I did just teach about burnout a couple of weeks ago, right? Right. So I'm right with you all on that. And I totally get it. And it is a very big balancing act. Yet we are already, after 3 years, seeing huge gains. And we must remember that that is more than we thought we would get when, like, the day we started, right? So we have systems in place, we have verticals, we've got all kinds of help and connections in the industry. I mean, in 3 years, that's fantastic. So please, everyone, remember that. Yes, it's a slog. It can be a slog. You know, there's quiet moments and busy moments, just like in our lives. But what this organization has done with a group of people is across our country is unbelievable. So please don't ever forget that, everybody. Okay, like it's you know, sometimes it's just those tiny little movements that make all the difference. Hang in there.
Yeah, and as we strategically plan those movements moving forward, we'll have even more success. So what a great way to pull everything together. Go ahead, JJ.
Right. All right. So coming up in our calendar for the next little while, in the summer, we're taking some time off. So the last 2 weeks of July and August will be reserved for us enjoying the summer for the short time that we have it. But we do have a few things coming up. We just had our accountability pod at Business Support Group yesterday. We tried to do that, you know, when necessary, at least every couple of months, just so we can get together and focus on whatever tasks we have at hand. Sorry, my apologies. So in July, we have a water cooler session on the 13th. And on the 14th, we will be meeting with Chris Johnston from Loonrise Farms. This will be our Friday speaker series. He's a small craft cannabis producer from Teeswater, Ontario. I had the pleasure to meet him and discuss doing cannabis farm tours at his location, which is not something that, you know, a lot of LPs are willing to do. So he's a great guy, and they grow all organic outdoor sun-grown cannabis. So we'll be talking with him on the 14th. Outside of that, in July, like I said, we're taking some time off, but we do have some of our members celebrating birthdays. So I wanted to wish, Samara, happy birthday on the 13th, Melanie on the 16th, and Andrea Maharg on the 21st. Happy birthday. And then August, we'll be hosting another business support group, and that will be August 1st. And I'm excited. I know some of you know, we'll be having Chris Canna, who is a social media whiz. Her Instagram is outstanding. And so she's going to be coming and talking to us a little bit about, social media management. And then on the 4th, we're having another basic member chill and chat. So all of our members for the basic membership, we're going to get together there. We have a water cooler on the 10th of August, and then we'll be having a Friday speaker series, and it's going to be on, I can't see, it's so small, the 11th of August. And that's going to be a talk on the intersection of psychedelics and cannabis with a gentleman named Jim Leslie. So we're excited about that. And that's what we have coming up in August. So yeah, it is on the 11th, and that's coming up in August. And so that's it for the next couple of months. And that's me.
And we look forward to getting back to a regularly scheduled calendar in September. A few more Friday speaker series per month, business support groups, water coolers. We look forward to booking more master classes, but not overdoing it, but making sure that we're offering our members good value for the money that they do pay to support us. So we'd like to have an open discussion here. What do you want to see as our current members, potential future members as well? What are you looking for when you hear that EduCanNation is a nonprofit that supports cannabis educators and access to cannabis education? Where could we consider maybe starting when we're creating our priority list for the year ahead? Please jump in and maybe raise your hand if there's someone already speaking. Yeah, start us off, Olga.
I would really love to see, we've got these modules as in IMB, and just like be able to already start doing some of the communication education. I think that some of us are ripe to do that, and I would love to see that in starting out in the summer.
Can you elaborate on communication education? So we'll be
not communicate, the community, the awoke thing. So yeah. Some of us are already ready. So if you give us the go for it, then we will, I can see taking the slides and having those conversations in the community centers and in the libraries, take one module and just have a fun Canna chat about cannabis.
That actually might be a great point and way to develop our professional membership evaluation. Maybe we send our members off with a module to present somewhere for free in their communities and record it. And yeah, love that idea. Thanks, Olga.
And we also see that when I talk about broadening our audience, right now we are somewhat speaking to the cannabis industry. We look forward to taking that to the community pieces and people who will have us, right? Like we have been trying to do this. We've been trying to get into stores and LPs and our local long-term care homes. And some of us are out there doing it in colleges and our communities and just maybe smaller conversations. But we do use those modules to do patient education, and that language, that level of 101 basic cannabis education is applying to all of those audiences. And we see it applying to the global market as they start up their cannabis industry as well. So to have that knowledge, to be seen as someone who's put that out 3, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I think we can continue to utilize it. It will be evergreen information. And of course, through the professional membership and our education subcommittee will continue to keep that up to date as well. Any other things you're excited about when you think of what this nonprofit could offer to the world?
I'm pretty excited, if I can just jump in here. I'm pretty excited at the win at Can Expo, and I've been a huge kind of expo tour guy for a while, and I know how they're like that. So I think that's something that I'm really excited about, to connect with all of you at all the potential, expos across. But I think tying in with Teresa's point on how to, really kind of target the next step is something that I'm kind of feeling it right now with the time crunch, with, take care of the little one and trying. I have less time and I want to spread myself and do all these things, but I think what would be helpful for at least me, is to be able to help you to find kind of like a target, like what, I guess I'm not saying this well, where can we really look at spreading the word and helping you guys gain the recognition and help people see you guys in places that can really kind of turn a profit, or really help empower you guys with memberships and things like that, because I do know that that's a really, really important way to put back into the industry and the efforts that you guys are putting in. I also want to say that I'm so impressed with absolutely everybody who's spoken today. It's amazing to see this thing grow almost exponentially at each one of these, and it's an honor to be part of this whole thing and be, offering any advice. So I just want to say as well that this kind of stuff is absolutely endearing and lights into the fire in the deep parts of you that I know we're all going on right now. It's a very tiring place to be in, but it's very, very important work. I truly believe in it, and I'm really, really proud to be part of this whole thing.
I love that. I love that. And I'm going to just jump in quickly, because for me, like, what's on the tip of my tongue is Association of Certified Cannabis Educators, recognized as that by the government, and educators in government dispensaries being paid as educators to be there for medical education. I know that that's like a huge dream, but like, we got to use this 6 degrees of separation, and we got to get ourselves recognized as the Association for Certified. We have to make sure that everyone who's calling themselves an educator across Canada has our certification. And to me, that once you do that and you gain that reputation, I can't help but feel like the people are going to want calling. We're not going to be able to fill all the places what people are going to want us to come educate. So for me, that's like a big thing in my head I'd like to see happen.
Can I roll off of that? I'll just put this out in the universe now. Imagine if every health department on every First Nations in Canada was a member to EduCanNation. That would be honestly a dream come true. I think of the treatment center I just worked at, the Wanakee Treatment Center, which is a Health Canada funded First Nations treatment center. They have resource people coming in all the time doing mental health, wellness workshops about this, that, and everything that's important. Cannabis would hopefully soon one day fall under that. And these are all also connections that are at just an arm's reach. So that's very exciting. And I totally agree, Samara, that that level of recognition, accreditation, that's what accreditation is, right? It is the top cheese. Nobody can knock it down. Nobody can say it's not the standardized education. It's the label that would be that golden seal for sure.
Amazing. Does anybody else want to jump in? I'd like to hear, does anybody else have any topics about cannabis that they'd like to learn more about? Personally, if we can have it noted, I would like to learn more about soil health and growing. It always seems to be top of mind at this time of year, so throwing it out there. JJ just threw into the chat, maybe she put it in because it's hard to pronounce, the endocannabinoidome. I don't know how to pronounce it. There you go.
I don't even know if I spelled it right, so it's probably not helping you.
Yeah, that's not helping.
I'll pronounce it. It's endocannabinome.
Thank you.
And I have the book. I'm still working on it. So I plan on reading it off my phone and being extremely expert in it. So we'll see how
And then
it goes.
presenting to EduCanNation about it.
I will. I could probably do a bit about the endocannabinoid system now, but the endocannabinome is a little bit trickier. But yes, I will try and work on that for you, JJ.
Hey, you know more than we do, so.
I know some. I know that the world needs to learn they have one. That much I know. And I'd almost like to write to the UN and say that this is a disservice by not having medical schools teach this. But, that might be pushing it.
I know, I was gonna say, get some MPs on our board, like, can we get some government people coming in here somehow? Someone must know someone.
I might. I have some connections. I'll work on it. I'm gonna try and connect with the private club that I worked at. I still have really good connections there, so I'm gonna see if I can get maybe even a presentation or something done there with the people I know. So but the first thing I really want to do is get into the Lilac Fest next year. That's my goal for this next year.
Just looking at the time and keeping us on track, want to make sure everyone has a chance to jump in and let us know if there's something else that they would like to see, the direction of the organization, or something they'd personally like to learn about. And yeah, please do jump in. There are some people who have joined us today who we haven't heard from. I just want to give you the opportunity to speak your mind.
I'm trying to post in the chat and I'm not remembering. What did you say, Tamara, was the place that you think you should submit the letter to? CN or the NC or the
Oh, which letter?
endocannabinoid system?
Oh, to the UN.
UN, yes.
Yes,
Debbie
the
Wimberly
UN.
from Debbie Wimberly from the Effective Cannabis newsletter did send letter to the UN about the endocannabinoid system. So I want just to know that somebody has done it.
Excellent. Good to know. They need more though.
Good stuff. Anybody else want to jump in before we wrap things up?
I had one more thing I wanted to jump in with about what to learn. I would love to see other herbs that go really well with cannabis. Like I know I've learned some from Dr. Zulak. He's got a sweet flag or something. I'm not sure exactly. I've never tried it. He has a few that he talks about. And then there's also, I'd like to learn, well, I'm doing a little bit of experimenting with the PEAK, the PEA polymethamine. It's the one endocannabinoid like supplement you can buy. So I would really like to learn about just some other stuff that really, really goes well. Maybe a little bit of a herbalist talk. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. That sounds great. I'm sure I can contribute to the conversation. And I know we have some other members that are fairly well versed in other herbs that could probably, I'm sure we could have a really good educational talk about that. I love that. Maria, I see that you've unmuted yourself. Do you want to jump in?
Hi there, I'm Maria.
Hi.
Thank you all for what you've been doing. This is truly amazing. I've been working for licensed producers for the last 4 years. I'm here in Vancouver, so I've been working out in Delta. My focus these days is education and product quality assurance. I understand very well of the product on the market, and the gap between the physician and this medical education. So I have a lot of different in the last few months, just learning more about this organization. It's been great for me to have. I almost want to carry your card around because I can just hand it out to people, because it's all about education. And a big thing for me is with children and pediatrics and also seniors, I can see how they really need a physician, basically directing them to cannabis, and that's just not happening here in Canada. So I guess I would love to. I know a lot about batch to batch variation, and I don't know if that's something that people are finding, that there's no consistency with the product because of the recreational focus of what's available in the dispensaries. But yeah, so there's some batches that are really great, and then the next batch is not as high in terpenes, and so anyways, that consistency. And so I quality assurance and educating physicians, that's really kind of the big gaps that I see. And so I'm very thankful that you've chewed off a really big thing here, but it's really important. And the next steps of, I think, focusing direction and strategies is a really important moving forward. And what direction you want to take, and how to reach the most people. I carry around Dr. Bonnie Goldstein's book with me, and I'm almost sharing that information with people like every day. So I can now add your card.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Maria. And it's the first time I think that I'm seeing you. So if you want to reach out at any point and set up just like a meeting with us, so we get a chance to get to know you a little bit better, and see how we can support you as well in what you're doing. We're always open for that. So please do reach out.
Yeah, I will. I have a lot to share, and I will definitely be in touch. And I look forward to it for sure.
Thank you.
Thanks for having this and opening it up to all. Yeah.
Well, that's what we do as a nonprofit. It's that transparency piece, right? Make sure it helps hold us accountable to our mission and our vision. So thank you very much for joining us. Does anybody else want to jump in? I can't see everyone on my screen, but please do. I'm going to just sort of wrap up and stop sharing screen. And Stacey, actually, can you reshare just the last? I'm so sorry. I meant to say stop sharing screen in a second. We kind of missed out to, we want to say thank you to everyone who is a part of the organization, whether you're a member or you're just a supporter out there, or you're just hearing about us for the first time and you support our mission. We really appreciate you. Everyone who has participated, who has taken the time to join us and teach us or come and learn from us, to expand our knowledge and to keep preaching the good word about good quality cannabis education out there. We appreciate you all, and we appreciate your support. And we also really want to respectfully and humbly acknowledge that we are blessed to reside on the original and traditional lands of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nations people. So we wanted to make sure that we got that in there as well. So thank you to everyone. And if you want to stay on and continue the conversation, I know many of us that are very passionate will be happy to stay on for a few minutes and talk with you all.
I'm gonna say goodnight. Thank you for everyone's time. I'm really glad I got to make some more faces and name connections, and Namoltis, see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.
See you soon. We'll announce the winners in the next week and reach out soon.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Nice meeting you.
Yeah, nice to see you too. Thanks for coming.
I'm on my way. Awesome meeting. So good. Looking forward to this coming year.
Good luck to
See you all.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Oh, Olga, you'll be missed.
I'll stop the recording now that the official meeting's over and we can just have a little chill chat.
Yes.
Olga, we're gonna miss you.